What if I told you that a single act of kindness from a stranger could completely transform two lives forever? What if the difference between success and failure, between abundance and poverty, wasn't about talent, luck, or circumstances, but about something much simpler that we all possess? Today, I'm going to share with you the most powerful story you'll ever hear. A story about two brothers, a mysterious stranger, and a single day that changed everything. But here's what makes this story different. It's not just about what happened to them. It's about what's happening to you right now as you listen to this. By the end of this story, you'll understand why some people seem to attract success like a magnet, while others struggle their entire lives. You'll discover the hidden force that shapes every relationship, every opportunity, and every outcome in your life. And most importantly, you'll learn how to activate this force starting today. If you're ready to discover the secret that changed everything for these two brothers, hit that subscribe button right now, and let's begin this journey together. In a small valley nestled between rolling hills, there lived two brothers named Samuel and Marcus. They were as different as day and night, yet bound by the same blood and raised under the same roof. Samuel, the elder brother, had always been known for his gentle heart. Every morning, he would wake before dawn, not just to tend to his modest farm, but to check on his elderly neighbor, Mrs. Elena, bringing her fresh bread and ensuring she had everything she needed. He would walk through the village, offering help to anyone who needed it, fixing a broken fence here, carrying heavy bags there, always with a warm smile and never expecting anything in return. Marcus, on the other hand, had grown bitter over the years. He saw Samuel's kindness as weakness, his generosity as foolishness. "Why do you waste your time helping others?" Marcus would often say. "Look at us, Samuel. We have barely enough for ourselves, yet you give away our bread, our time, our energy to people who don't even appreciate it. When has anyone ever helped us when we needed it most?" Samuel would simply smile and reply, "Brother, kindness is like planting seeds. We may not see the harvest immediately, but the right season always comes." Marcus would roll his eyes. "Seeds don't pay bills, Samuel. Seeds don't put food on the table. The world is cold and selfish, and only the strong survive. Your kindness will be your downfall." One particularly harsh winter morning, both brothers were struggling. Their small farm had produced barely enough to survive, and the money they had saved was nearly gone. The roof of their house had started leaking, and they desperately needed repairs before the next storm. That morning, as Samuel was walking to the market to sell their last few vegetables, he noticed an old man sitting by the roadside. The stranger was poorly dressed, shivering in the cold, and looked as if he hadn't eaten in days. His weathered face told stories of hardship, and his eyes held a deep sadness that seemed to pierce through Samuel's soul. Without hesitation, Samuel approached the man. "Good morning, sir. You look cold and hungry. Please, take this." Samuel offered the old man his own coat and the small bag of bread he had planned to eat for lunch. The old man looked up with surprise. "Son, I couldn't possibly take your coat. You'll freeze in this weather." "I'll be fine," Samuel insisted, gently placing the coat around the old man's shoulders. "And please, take this bread. You need it more than I do." The stranger's eyes filled with tears. "But young man, if you give me your coat and your food, what will you have left?" Samuel smiled warmly. "I have something much more valuable than a coat or bread, sir. I have the ability to help someone in need. That's worth more than any possession I could ever own." Meanwhile, Marcus had witnessed this entire exchange from across the street. He stormed over to Samuel, his face red with anger. "Have you lost your mind?" Marcus shouted. "That's your only warm coat, and that bread could have been sold for money we desperately need. You're going to get yourself killed with this ridiculous kindness." The old man looked between the two brothers, studying them carefully. Then he spoke, his voice carrying a strange authority that seemed to command attention. "I've been traveling through this valley for many days," the stranger said slowly. "I've watched people pass by, hundreds of them. Some pretended not to see me. Others saw me, but quickly looked away. A few threw coins at my feet without even slowing down, as if I were some sort of inconvenience to be quickly dismissed. He stood up, and somehow he seemed taller, more dignified than before. "But you, young man," he said, looking directly at Samuel, "you didn't just see my need. You felt it. You didn't just give me your possessions. You gave me your respect, your time, your genuine care. You treated me not as a burden, but as a fellow human being worthy of kindness." The old man then turned to Marcus. "And you, young man, I understand your anger. You're protecting your brother because you love him. But tell me, when was the last time you felt truly happy? When was the last time you felt that your life had meaning beyond just surviving?" Marcus was taken aback by the question. He couldn't remember the last time he had felt genuinely happy or fulfilled. A stranger reached into his worn bag and pulled out a small, ornate wooden box. "Many years ago, I was a wealthy merchant," the old man began. "I had everything money could buy: houses, land, servants, influence. But I was miserable. I was surrounded by people, yet completely alone. I had everything, yet felt empty inside." He opened the box, revealing what appeared to be ordinary seeds. "One day, I lost everything. My business failed. My friends abandoned me. My family disowned me. I found myself homeless, hungry, and desperate. And in that moment of complete despair, a kind stranger helped me, just as you helped me today, Samuel. That stranger gave me these seeds and told me something I'll never forget." The old man's voice grew stronger, more profound. He said, "The universe operates on a simple principle. What you plant, you harvest. But here's the secret most people never learn. Kindness is the most powerful seed you can ever plant. It grows into opportunities you never expected, relationships you never imagined, and abundance beyond your wildest dreams." Samuel listened intently, while Marcus remained skeptical but curious. "These aren't ordinary seeds," the stranger continued. "They represent something much more powerful. They represent the principle of reciprocity, the law of kindness, the universal truth that what we give out always comes back to us multiplied." He handed the box to Samuel. "Because of your kindness today, I want to give you these seeds. But they come with instructions that you must follow exactly. First," the old man said, "you must plant these seeds not just in soil, but in life. Every day, you must perform at least 3 acts of genuine kindness. Not because you expect something in return, but because it's the right thing to do." Samuel nodded eagerly, while Marcus shook his head in disbelief. "Second, whenever someone shows you kindness, you must pass it forward to someone else within 24 hours. Kindness must keep flowing, never stopping with you. Third, you must never speak of these seeds or their power to anyone who hasn't first shown genuine kindness to others. The secret reveals itself only to those who are ready to receive it." The old man turned to Marcus. "And you, young man, you have a choice to make. You can continue believing that the world is cruel and that kindness is weakness. Or you can open your heart to a different possibility." Marcus stared at the seeds, something stirring inside him that he hadn't felt in years. "What if you're both wrong?" Marcus asked quietly. "What if kindness doesn't work? What if these seeds are just ... Seeds?" The old man smiled knowingly. "Then you'll have spent your life being kind to others, helping those in need, and making the world a better place. Tell me, Marcus, what's the downside of that?" That very afternoon, something extraordinary happened. Samuel, wearing the old man's humble but surprisingly warm cloak that the stranger had insisted on exchanging for Samuel's coat, decided to plant the first seed in his garden. As he was working, Mrs. Elena approached him with tears in her eyes. "Samuel," she said, "I've been wanting to tell you something for months. Your daily kindness, your help, your genuine care for an old woman like me, it's meant more to me than you'll ever know." She handed him an envelope. "My late husband left me some property deeds that I've never had use for. There's a piece of land just outside town that's been sitting empty for years. I want you to have it. It's fertile ground, perfect for farming, and it's yours if you want it." Samuel was stunned. The land she was offering was worth more than he could earn in 10 years. Mrs. Elena, I can't accept this. I helped you because I care about you, not because I wanted anything in return. I know, Samuel. That's exactly why I want you to have it. Marcus witnessed this exchange and felt something shift inside him. That evening, he approached Samuel. Brother, Marcus said hesitantly, maybe ... maybe I could try planting one of those seeds too? Samuel's face lit up with joy. Of course, Marcus. But remember what the old man said. It starts with genuine acts of kindness. The next morning, Marcus woke up early, and for the first time in years, he looked for ways to help others. He saw Mayor Rodriguez, the elderly shopkeeper, struggling to move heavy boxes. Let me help you with those, Marcus offered, surprising both himself and Mr. Rodriguez. Marcus, is that you? Thank you, son. I wasn't sure how I was going to manage these alone, as they worked together. Mr. Rodriguez mentioned that he had been looking for someone reliable to help him expand his business. I've been watching you and your brother for years, he said. Samuel has always been helpful, but you ... You have a sharp mind for business. If you're interested, I could use a partner. Over the following weeks, both brothers committed themselves to daily acts of kindness. Samuel used his new land to grow not just crops for himself, but extra food to share with families in need. Marcus discovered that his business partnership with M.R. Rodriguez was flourishing, and he found genuine joy in using his profits to help others. But the most remarkable changes weren't in their external circumstances. They were internal. Samuel, who had always been kind, but sometimes worried about their financial struggles, found a deep peace and confidence he had never experienced before. Opportunities seemed to appear everywhere he looked. People he had helped in the past began recommending him for jobs, introducing him to influential contacts, and supporting his endeavors in ways he never could have imagined. Marcus experienced an even more dramatic transformation. The bitterness and anger that had consumed him for years began to melt away. He discovered that helping others didn't make him weak. It made him stronger, more confident, and genuinely happy for the first time in his adult life. 6 months later, on the anniversary of that winter morning, the old stranger returned. But this time, he wasn't dressed in rags. He wore a fine suit and carried himself with the dignity of a successful businessman. Both brothers were working together in their now thriving agricultural business, having combined Samuel's land with Marcus's business expertise to create something neither could have achieved alone. I told you I was once a wealthy merchant, the old man said with a warm smile. What I didn't tell you is that I still am. I've spent the last several years traveling, looking for people who understand the true power of kindness. He gestured to their thriving farm and the community of people who had gathered around them, workers they treated with respect and fairness, neighbors who had become friends, families they had helped who were now helping others. You see, I've been searching for people worthy of a business partnership. I own several companies, and I need managers who understand that success isn't just about profit, it's about people. I need leaders who know that kindness isn't weakness, but the greatest strength of all. The old man sat down with both brothers under the shade of a tree that Samuel had planted months earlier. The seeds I gave you weren't magic, he revealed. They were ordinary seeds, but they represented something extraordinary, the principle that governs all success, all happiness, all meaningful achievement in life. Marcus leaned forward. What principle? The principle of sowing and reaping, but not in the way most people understand it. Most people think you sow actions and reap results, but the truth goes much deeper. You sow character, and you reap destiny. You sow kindness, and you reap opportunities. You sow love, and you reap abundance. Samuel nodded thoughtfully. So the seeds were really about changing who we are, not just what we do. Exactly, the old man replied. When you become genuinely kind, when you become someone who truly cares about others' well-being, the entire universe begins to respond differently to you. People trust you. Opportunities flow to you. Resources appear when you need them. It's not magic. It's how human nature and natural world actually work. The old man pointed to their thriving community. Look around you. How many lives have been changed because of your transformation? Mrs. Elena isn't lonely anymore. She's become like a grandmother to half the village children. Mr. Rodriguez's business is booming, and he's been able to hire a dozen people from the community. The families you've helped have gone on to help others. Marcus was amazed as he counted the ripple effects of their kindness. I never realized ... That's the true magic of kindness, the stranger continued. It multiplies. Every act of genuine kindness creates waves that spread far beyond what you can see. And those waves eventually circle back to you in ways you never expected. He stood up and shook both their hands. I came here today to offer you both positions in my companies, but I can see you've created something even more valuable here. You've created a community built on kindness, a business built on integrity, and lives built on purpose. The old man smiled. Keep the seeds. Pass them on to others who are ready to learn what you've learned. And remember, the day everything changed wasn't the day I gave you those seeds. It was the day you chose to be kind, regardless of what you might receive in return. As the old man prepared to leave, Marcus asked one final question that had been bothering him for months. Sir, why us? Why did you choose to help us that day? The stranger paused and turned back. Marcus, I didn't choose to help you. I was genuinely in need that day. I had been walking for days. I was cold and hungry, and I was testing something I had learned about human nature. Both brothers looked confused. You see, I've discovered that the universe has a way of putting people in our path exactly when we need them most. I needed to know if there were still people in this world who would help a stranger without expecting anything in return. Samuel answered that question for me. The old man's eyes grew distant. But more importantly, you both needed to learn that kindness isn't about being weak or naive. It's about being strong enough to care about others, even when you're struggling yourself. It's about being wise enough to understand that helping others is actually helping yourself. He began walking away, then turned back one final time. The seeds I gave you were real, and they did grow into a beautiful harvest. But the most important seed was already inside you, Samuel, your naturally kind heart. And Marcus, the most important transformation was your willingness to let that seed grow in you too. Years later, the two brothers became known throughout the region, not just for their successful business, but for the way they treated people. They never forgot the lesson of that winter day. Samuel continued to wake up each morning, looking for ways to help others, but now he had the resources to help on a much larger scale. He established a fund to help struggling families, created job opportunities for those in need, and taught others the principles he had learned. Marcus, once bitter and skeptical, became known as one of the most generous and trustworthy businessmen in the area. He discovered that his natural intelligence and business acumen, when combined with genuine care for people, made him extraordinarily successful. But the most remarkable thing was how their kindness continued to multiply. Every person they helped went on to help others. Every act of generosity inspired more generosity. Every moment of compassion created more compassion in the world. And now, as I finish this story, I want you to understand something important. You are not just a listener to this tale. You are part of it. Right now, in this moment, you have the same choice that Samuel and Marcus had. You can choose to believe that kindness is weakness, that the world is cold and cruel, that you must look out only for yourself to survive. Or you can choose to believe that kindness is the most powerful force in the universe, that what you give out always comes back to you multiplied, and that your life can become extraordinary simply by caring genuinely about others. The truth is, you don't need magical seeds from a mysterious stranger. You already have everything you need. You have a heart capable of kindness. You have hands capable of helping. You have a voice capable of encouraging others. The day everything changes for you is the day you decide to plant seeds of kindness everywhere you go. Maybe today is that day. Maybe right now, As you're listening to this story, something inside you is stirring the same way it stirred inside Marcus when he realized there was a different way to live. If this story has touched your heart, if it's made you think differently about the power of kindness, then I want you to do something right now. First, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. This channel, The Day Everything Changed, is dedicated to sharing stories like this. Stories that have the power to transform lives, to inspire kindness, and to remind us all of what's truly important in life. But more importantly, I want you to plant your first seed of kindness today. Before you listen to another video, before you scroll to the next thing, I want you to think of one person in your life who could use some kindness. Maybe it's someone who's been struggling. Maybe it's someone you've had a disagreement with. Maybe it's a stranger who just needs someone to smile at them. Go to that person. Be kind to them. Help them in whatever way you can. Don't expect anything in return. Just plant that seed and trust that it will grow into something beautiful. And here's something amazing. When you do this, when you choose kindness, you're not just changing their day. You're changing yourself. You're becoming the kind of person who attracts opportunities, relationships, and abundance. You're becoming someone whose life has deeper meaning and purpose. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Leave a comment below telling us about a time when someone's kindness changed your life, or about an act of kindness you're planning to do today. Remember, the day everything changes isn't some distant future date. It's today. It's right now. It's the moment you decide that kindness isn't just something nice to do. It's the secret to a life of meaning, purpose, and true success. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this community of people who believe in the power of kindness. And remember, your story of transformation is just beginning. The day everything changes is today. Make it count.